pancreas, mimic, club, form, numerous, this kitchen, and dialogues took place, some of which we will share with you.
It's a singular thought, or it's like one vision, yet it creates millions of opportunities. The way I think of Vision 2030 and our participation in it, we could either treat it as a movie. We're in the theater, we watch Vision 2030 unfolding. The results, the deliverables, the great things happening. Or, alternatively, we could envision it as a play, masrahiyya. We are the actors, we are some of the actors, and we are allowed to improvise. And now we can add our own touches and our own achievement within the environment of Vision 2030. So come 2030, we could be...
The ZER project, which is an international non-profit foundation in Vienna, Austria, is exactly what we do. So we go all around the world and we find and share models that remove barriers for persons with disabilities. We want to know what people are doing in Saudi Arabia. We want to know what people in Bolivia, in Belgium, in the United States, in Japan are doing. Because we believe that if we're able to democratize access to the disability data, that money is saved, time is saved, and people can start to understand how to bridge that gap of trust. How do you set up models that bridge that gap of trust? And I can talk a bit more about some of the examples, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Well, for now, I want to repeat that quote. We can move at the speed of trust. So you can think big, you can act now, but you can only go as far as you trust. So do we trust the system? Do we trust moving forward, or our co-workers?
Myself. Take a break. It's very simple. But when you say that, people are like, okay, that's like, I knew that. Yeah. But no one is taking a break. So I'm going to conferences around the globe. I'm speaking on social media. I'm going on TV every day. At morning, you will see me in Serbia on TV. And I say, take a break. No one is taking a break. You know, like people need to write down in their schedules, take a break. And then when they see, they snooze alarm and they continue to work.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's happening, and when I say take a break, everybody rolls their eyes.
Unfortunately, because of the rain, we had one very important session that I was looking forward to that was cut short. But today, alhamdulillah, I'm very, very happy to say that we're going to bring...
is going to merge with unlimited imagination. The question is, how are you going to get in the game? Are you ready? I'm looking straight at you, bro. You know I'm talking to you, right? You know I'm talking to you. What you doing to get ready, man? You got to ask yourself that question every day.
Well, I'm conscious of our time, so my final question to you, Chris, is the theme of it.
Why are we out of time? You have to go someplace? Why do we have to go someplace? The minister went 30 minutes over time. I'm joking, okay, it's a joke.
So my final question, Chris, the theme of MGF is think big, act now. You wrote in your book, the world is your oyster. It's up to you to find your pearls. And I saw a post from you a couple of days back. The sun is shining and I'm jumping from continent to continent. Dreams don't have borders. And that dream don't...
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a truly wonderful session. Thank you. I want to thank you, Chris. That laugh, inshallah, he has one of the most...
The trend won't take you anywhere. You need to be the trend. We need to be the trend, not only following the trend. That's the main goal, because I'm seeing today like everything is being very fast and people want to reach very fast, but they don't care about the message, which is very important.
Definitely. It's all about numbers. It's all about reaching that famous point, reaching 1 million followers, 100,000 followers. It's become so competitive. I've witnessed.
And the sad part is like forgetting about what you really want. What's your goal before this fame?
As a gamer myself, when I see a loot box, I get really excited because loot box in a game is basically a booster, something that will help me reach the end very quickly. But in your specialization, what does loot boxes mean in the law of gaming?
Yeah, sure. So with video games now, in most games, you can, after you get into the video game, the game will offer you to buy various things with real money. So the loot boxes that I am more concerned about are the ones that ask you to spend money to buy. The problem is that, of course, with the loot boxes that I think you're thinking of, if you, for example, beat a stage or defeated some enemies and you got a loot box, I don't think that's a problem. The randomization adds the fun of it. You get a nice, surprising result that makes the game more fun. But when they ask you for money and the rewards are randomized, some governments become more concerned because they think, is this perhaps a type of gambling?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for shedding a light on this. I think it's very...
Like many different ways. So I would say there are two main intersections between law and the video game industry. The first one being intellectual property. So if I made a game and someone else wants to make another game, they need to be careful how much of the game they can copy. That's less my area, although there's a lot of research on that. I'm more on the content moderation and regulation of what can be put inside video games.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Leon. Okay, back to you, Hussein. We talked about your inspiration.
So we carry the rights for the Italian League in this part of the world. So rather than simply broadcast and stream the games, what we are doing now is we're running a talent show where we will scout and recruit 28 young adults from 5 countries, Egypt, Kuwait, Saudi, UAE, and Oman, and recruit 20.
Ink and paper. That's your only tool. That's your only tool to communicate and express yourself. And if you can, with only ink and paper, elicit an emotional response, to have someone engage with you with only using those primitive tools, then you're bulletproof. You can do anything. So I take a lot of inspiration from books, and I try to take, see what they do, and try to take some of that and try to elevate it with whatever art forms that I'm in possession of, whether that's visuals, voiceover works, editing, and all kind of things, music and all sorts of things like that. So that's normally how my creative process goes.
That's amazing, and I love your content. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Muaz, so as the CEO of Stars Play, we all know Stars Play and how...
I counted the steps it took me to get from my classroom to the water fountain. And I counted 10 steps. And we were in kindergarten, well, we'd just come out of kindergarten, like preschool. So one of the things that was forced upon us almost was sharing in the classroom, that it was a fair and equal place. And so we felt we had been lied to. It was this big conspiracy, and my teacher kind of shrugged and said, if you want to raise money for something on this list, it will help. So we were deciding who would fundraise money for what on the list. And the well came up. It was the most expensive thing. And I raised my hand. And I said, I want to fundraise for that. To which my teacher kind of just looked at me and said, are you sure, Ryan? Because I wasn't the type of student to raise my hand. I sat in the back of the classroom and I waited for things to be over so I could go to recess. So my teacher thought I wasn't paying attention, wasn't taking it seriously, so she said, Ryan, this is a big part of our fundraiser. Are you sure you can do it? And I said, don't worry, I've got a plan. I'm gonna go home to my parents. But I had this idea in my head that if I could just get to $70, it would build a well and would bring the entire world clean water. So it was important. So I ignored it and I decided to keep on going. It took me what felt like forever. It took me 4 months, but I finally raised $70 and I was so excited. I had done so many different things to raise the money. And I brought it back to my school and they actually wouldn't take the money anymore because the fundraiser had ended a long time ago. So my mom helped find an organization that did that kind of thing. They built clean water wells all over the world in the big city where I'm from, a city called Ottawa. And I remember I got the day off of school, and I got to go in with my cookie tin filled with change, and I brought it to them and I said, this is to build a well. And they kind of looked at me like my parents did when I came home with the idea. They said, oh, that's cute. They showed me around their office and explained what they did. And they said, Ryan, it's going to cost a little bit more than $70 to build.
We thank the team behind the Form 4 Fairs for making everything visible. For Al Hatoun Media Center, نهى الجابري الرياض.